Hi everyone, my name is Rose and welcome to today's sewing video. Today we're going to be making a set for summer, and the fabric I'm using is fabric I found at the La Piece Fabric Market, which they have in Utrecht. It's on every Saturday. I saw this, I think this was maybe a month ago, and I immediately fell in love with it. I love how the ground color is off-white. It's nice and creamy, and I love how the striping detail reminds me of like roping detail. So it seemed very nautical to me and really perfect for summer. I purchased about 1.5 meters, and I ended up actually making 3 pieces for summer for this. And I'm really excited to take you along with the process with me today. So one of the patterns is store-bought, and then 2 are self-drafted. Yes, so let's go along with the process today. I'm really excited to bring you along, and let's get sewing. So first things first, we're starting with our shorts, and I'm using the base pattern, the Daphne Sews Trousers, because I've made this a few times and I loved the fit. I like how the front rise fits me, and I really enjoy where it hits me on the waist. So I make my pattern. This is a little bit longer, than I normally would wear a short, because I'm planning on trying it on before I determine how long my inseam will be. And I'm going in and adding the lock stitches after to all of my edges and sewing my darts. I also end up press on interfacing at the top edge of the front so that the pleats can be perfect and it could fit me perfectly around my waist. I thought this was just a really extra step that I loved. When I sewed everything together, however, I determined I did not love the fullness in the trousers themselves with the stripes. I thought it was just a little sloppy. So what I ended up doing is pinning out all of the extra fabric, and I determined that looked a lot more neater and cleaner, and that is where the look I was going for. So I went through and removed all the extra fabric and made sure to match all of the stripes at the side seam, which was a little tedious, but I love this short now and it fits me so well.
Goal today is to finish the shorts. So overall, I took a lot of the extra out, and I just have like a really small pleat in the front, and I also ended up sewing it down so that it lays flat and it's not too extra or looks weird. I also picked up some notions from the fabric store that I work at, so we needed some bias, and I also needed a matching tonal zipper, and we're gonna put this all together. So initially this pattern just had like a regular belt loops, but I think I'm going to either double them, like one of these photos I think I can insert here, but I also kind of want to make this like belts that I've been seeing. I want to add something a little different to these, so it's like something different than what I own, and it really helps to kind of elevate these.
After all the smaller details were done with the short, I decided to throw it on, and I ended up wearing this to one of my classes that I taught sewing. So I really love how this came out, and let's continue sewing our summer sets. Next up, in this summer set, we are making the Dakota top. So this is one of my self-drafted patterns. It's something I really fell in love with. I liked how open front this was, and I wore this a lot last summer when I was pregnant with the open belly. That was like super helpful, but now I want this to be more like revolve. I'm channeling revolve here, and I'm closing the front. Let's start sewing this into a top.
So this is the Dakota top so far. Now, Dakota, a little bit about her is she has 3 bust darts on either side. So it's really a nice little detail that I really liked designing into that. She's also single layer, which means that the inside our guts have to be really pretty. So what I ended up doing was adding bias binding on the empire waist. She's also going to be finished with either piping or I have rickrack. So originally the other samples that I worked with, they had lace here on the neckline, but the other one also had bias binding to finish out the armhole and the neckline. For The bottom hem, you can also do that, or it's just like self-finish. I'm gonna probably add the overlock. I'm gonna lock all of the raw edges just so we have that like extra niceness and tidiness on the inside before I decide whether I'm adding bias or piping or rickrack. So let's take a look actually. And also, so the first samples, well, the other samples that I made, they initially had like a open front, but this one is obviously closed, and I'm adding an invisible zipper on the side seam to get into the garment. I really like how versatile this pattern is. I just found for the open front, I didn't wear it as much. So I think I like closed front a little better. We'll see. So this is the navy, it's not bias, I'm sorry. It has like the piping, it's navy piping. I actually think I really like this. I only did like a part of the view because it doesn't look as neat on the dress form. So I think I like this maybe over the rickrack, but we can double check the rickrack as well. Here we have a little of the rickrack. Other side, I have the bias binding, or the piping, sorry, piping. Yeah, one is definitely more loud than the other. I think I like the right side a little bit better, so let's do that. I have to clean up all the edges on the lock before I do something like this so that it's nice and neat when you look inside as well. So my top is basically done. I made sure everything was quite neat. The stripes at the center front I was able to get to match. At the back, at first I didn't like how the rickrack was because that's how it looked, and I didn't think that looked very neat. So I decided to add like a bias binding like you kind of see on shirts to hide all of the raw edges, and it looks so much neater. And I made a little tag here with the stripes going in the opposite direction just to give a little visual interest because I wanted to make it extra special. The side, the armholes also have rickrack. Yeah, and we have a nice clean hem here. Voila, the shorts are done. And then I decided to add a little tiny top for this. So this is the pattern also I have drafted myself. This pattern I also drafted myself. I initially had a princess theme, but it was not working with our stripes. So I changed it to just have 2 darts on the bottom. And she's going to have a zipper here that's going to open from the bottom up. I saw this on one of my other shirts and I like the construction, and I can't seem to find a zipper that opens and is perfect for the back. So we're going to do like an invisible zipper at our side seam. We're going to add some tiny little straps here, and I still have to add our lining. And then I have a cute little matching set because I don't think I would wear this top with the shorts, but I love them as separates. But I would wear this top with the shorts because I think that's actually a really cute set. All right, let's keep sewing. Okay, so this is just like a little quick fit try on. I still have to obviously do the hem. So basically what I did was I sewed the lining on the top portion of this along the back, and I put the straps in. The straps are still tacked at the back, and I still need to make a few adjustments on length so that it doesn't fall off my shoulder. This one is still a little falling off. Overall, the balance of something a little shorter with the midriff and the high-waisted shorts, I like the balance of this a little bit better than that first top, but the first top is definitely going to be put into use. I still have to do this, the bottom hem edge. So what I'm going to do now is put the right sides together. So the hem, flip it inside out because the lining is still not attached here. This still looks a little bit messy. I'm gonna clean all of this up and this before we come for the final reveal. So just a few more steps here and let's continue sewing.
So my initial sewing technique was not working out, and I ended up having to tuck the hem edges in and sew everything by hand, but it came out super neat. And here is the final reveal. I actually really love how all of these pieces came out. Everything looks really cute together as a set, so it's not too overwhelming with the stripes. I actually really love both with the shorts. I love how much time and effort I put into this because these are pieces I'm gonna wear for a really long time. The shirt, I think I'll also pair with some jeans like this. I love how it reminds me of Revolve, this top, and it just feels so nice and elevated. This is just a little showing of like the side zipper and some small other details that I put into this top. I know I initially said I was going with piping, but I really love how I went with the rec rack instead. It just seems a little bit more subtle but elevated. You can see that the hem is a little asymmetrical here. It's dipping at the center front and straight at the center back, and you can see all the detailing in those like 3 or the 6 darts at the bust. I really love how this one came out. Let me know your thoughts. This is how I paired also the shorts with something else. I have this like knit top that I'm pretty obsessed with, but I also compare it with something that's navy and also nautical, just to kind of bring everything back together. And this is the final set with the little bralette. I love these two together. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.